Jesus was not Chinese, Michael.
I thought he was Middle Eastern, but I saw it on a TikTok. Chinese.
After 3 seasons on Saturday Night Live, Michael Longfellow is returning to stand-up comedy. He performs March 12th to the 14th at the Laugh Shop in Calgary. And joining us from Phoenix is Michael Longfellow. It's very nice to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
So after 3 seasons on SNL, what's it like to make the transition back to stand-up comedy?
It's nice. I did it while I was on the show. But you'd have to, take like a month off and then go do it during the breaks. So it's nice you're better at it when you do it every week in a row. And then the show made more people come to the shows. So it's all better all around. Even on Saturday Night Live, you kind of hinted that your material wasn't getting on the air that often. Did you, in a way, see that the end might be happening on that show? No, it was a surprise. I wouldn't have made those jokes if I genuinely thought the end was near. But is what it is. It wasn't weird. I still love everybody there. Talked to the big man. He called me. I'm going to go to a show later this year. But yeah, it was a surprise. It was a bit of I bought a lot of things over the summer that I maybe would take back if I knew it wasn't happening. Now, speaking of the big man, Lorne Michaels, great Canadian, how did you enjoy working for him? He's the best. He is hands down the person that impacted my life, other than my mom and my dad, the most. And best boss I ever had. One of the first bosses I genuinely loved. Or loved to work for and respected, and wasn't trying to somehow disregard my duties like when I was a busboy and stuff. So I have nothing bad to say about Mr. Michaels. It was good working for him. It was great. Now, speaking of your mom and dad, you talk quite a bit in your stand-up act about your parents and your family life. I have to find out, is your dad still a Trump supporter? Yep. Yes. He's from Arizona. He's an Arizona dad. He is I don't talk to him too much about it anymore. Got less fun. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm 100% sure. I guess Americans have to navigate these very careful conversations where politics, to a certain extent, are really off limits, right? It's awkward in Canada. I was in Toronto last week, and I just told them I was Australian. Because I don't know what's going on with the Canada stuff over there. I wouldn't say politics are off limits, though. I feel like a lot of American comedians talk about politics. Mm-hmm. It's not where my brain goes when I think of something funny to write. But I have little tiny, everyone's worried about Trump's cabinet. What about his cupboards? So I'm a pretty cutting-edge political comedian as well. You do know, though, you do know that anti-Trump material does go a long way here in Canada, for sure. We certainly have rather strong feelings about the guy. I can see why. Yeah, I think he should leave you alone. I think Canada's one of my favorite places ever, genuinely. I've somehow been there 20 times since in the last decade that I've been doing comedy. That caught us by surprise. No one thought the 51st state thing was we didn't think the Gulf of America was going to be a thing, but I think it's on the map. I understand you got into comedy when you were a student at Arizona State. Tell us about the first time you took to the stage. My mom signed me up for a comedy class at the Tempe Center for the Arts because I think I told her I wanted to do comedy like a year before, and I think she was excited that I was interested in anything. But probably knew I needed a push. I didn't want to do the class. I thought classes were lame. You can't teach funny. And then it was the best time ever. And I ended up interning there for the whole entire time I was at college, so I could do it for free. Just every Tuesday, I would meet up with a bunch of senior citizens and we would write jokes. And then at the end of 6 weeks, we would do the Class Clown comedy graduation showcase show, which was 25 senior citizens and me doing 5 minutes. Not a great show, but those are my friends, so I enjoyed it.
And what
It was actually good. I had a good first set. Yeah, it was my first set was very nice. I think most comics have like a good first set and then the bombs begin.
And you have to learn how to bomb and to deal with it, I assume.
Yeah, I think you just have to build up a callus to understand that if you bomb, which in the beginning they're pretty brutal. Now a bomb to me, I don't know if the audience would know, but I would know that I didn't like the show as much or that they got robbed in a way. But you just have to learn that if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean you're never going to be funny again. And that takes like a decade of just getting punched 1,000 times by bombing.
Tell us about your audition for Saturday Night Live. What was involved in that?
I had a showcase in LA. It was a normal sort of stand-up show where Lauren was there. And then I went to the weird one, the big, quiet, weird one at the studio. They told us do the same 5 minutes as the LA showcase, but the night before they were like, actually a different 5 minutes. But I kind of guessed they were going to do that, and I'd lost material. So I got there. They put us in dressing rooms. Marcelo was across from me. We watched Superbad together. And then the stagehand took me up, and before I went on, he said, "Don't worry, it's only the rest of your life," which is Chris, who became a friend at the show. And then I did some of my more physical bits. You know, I'm a stand-up, but I tried to give them some characters or any sort of physical bits. But I mostly just did stand-up twice. And it was fun. Everyone says it's crazy and like horrible. I got laughs. It's not like a great response just because there's 12 people and Lauren's somewhere else in the darkness, but you can hear us kind of chuckle, like, "Hur, hur, hur, hur." And then I talked to Lauren's office and flew to Amsterdam because my girlfriend was over there. She's from Europe and had planned a vacation for a long time, but the SNL audition got in the way, so I got there late. It was a good time.
Of course, the performers on Saturday Night Live come from all sorts of different backgrounds. A lot of them are more traditional actors, for example. Did you feel disadvantaged in any way in being a stand-up?
No. I understand why I never thought I'd get a chance to audition for the show because I was such a stand-up. But I also, I did improv and stuff. It just got too expensive. I think the hard part is being funny, not saying that I'm funny, but I think if someone's funny, they've gotten the hard part figured out, and they'll figure out how to be funny in a different format. And I wrote scripts and stuff. I hadn't written sketches yet, but it wasn't too bad of a transition. And then I just did a lot of updates, which feels very much like stand-up. So it wasn't, I didn't feel disadvantaged, but I understand. I did think like they probably wouldn't have me because I'm just a stand-up.
Now, looking back on your 3 years at SNL, who was the best host in your time there?
Oh my gosh, I always get this one wrong. Jason Momoa.
Really?
Was very nice. You know, yeah, I knew who Jason Momoa was, but there's like legends that you expect, you know, Steve Martin, Martin Short, another one. Jason was one of the coolest people I've ever met. At a stand-up show of mine in Bozeman, Montana, he happened to be there. He came like a year later and carried me on stage in his arms. I love Jason Momoa. And then I'd also say Ariana Grande she's very talented. She's better at all of us at our job. She could do that job.
Well,
better than all.
I was going to ask, who is your favorite musical guest? And she's one of those people who is both the host and the musical guest, right?
Yeah, she's incredibly talented and very nice. My favorite musical guest is probably after her, Bad Bunny. I'd never really heard of Bad Bunny, and I became a fan. I watched him live. He was one of the few I did. Bad Bunny.
All right, I have to ask you,
Adam.
I got to
see him.
ask you, who do you think was the worst host in your time there?
Oh, I wish I got an insane weird host. I really do. I heard stories, but everyone was pretty much very nice or just not weird and mean. The worst host, pass.
Yeah, I can understand that. I do hear there are legendary stories about Steven Seagal back in the day.
Yeah, apparently he's far and away the worst, like second to Spear. It's insane, the stories that I heard about Steven Seagal.
Michael Longfellow performs at the Laugh Shop March 12th to the 14th.